Hi, dear students. How are you? I hope you all are fine. I am also fine by the grace of Almighty God. I am Shukla, assistant teacher in English, Kapashkula City Corporation, Girls High School. Today's topic is passage narration. Learning outcomes. After study it, we will be able to know about the definition of passage narration, understand the rules of passage narration, realize how to transform direct speech into indirect speech. English second paper, class 8, topic passage narration. In the beginning of the class, we have to know what is passage narration at first. Passage narration means a short passage of conversation between two persons in the form of direct speeches. Here is an example of passage narration. I have got GPA 5 in the SSC examination, said Kamal. Congratulations. What do you intend to do now? Asked Hassan. I want to study in a reputed college. I will try to get myself admitted into Dhaka College, said Kamal. In this passage narration, you see a short passage of conversation between two persons. They are Kamal and Hassan. And this passage is in the form of direct speech. Now we will know about the rules of passage narration. Rule number 1. Read the passage narration from first to last and try to understand the speakers and their speeches. You have to differentiate each speech and its speaker. You may not get the name of speaker in his speech, but observing the context of speeches, you have to mark that. That means, at first you have to read the passage narration thoroughly. Then you have to understand, you have to find out the speaker and the listener at first. Then you have to get the name of the speaker, though it is not easy for you in some cases to determine who is the speaker. You have to understand it by reading the passage. Here is an example and explanation of this rule. You have lost my new bag today. Why have you gone outside leaving it then? Asked the master. I went outside for drinking a glass of water, sir, said the servant. But you could go after my coming. Now pay for the bag. Yes, I am guilty for my carelessness, but now I have no money, replied the servant. In this passage, notice the sentences, but you could go after my coming. Now pay for the bag and you will get that there is no speaker mentioned after the speeches. But because of context, we get that it is the speeches of the master. That means the passage, in this passage we see there is a speaker and he is the master. So in this way you have to read the passage thoroughly, then you have to determine who is the speaker. Rule number 2. You have to write the name of the speaker and listener of his speech before the speech during changing. In question, you may not get the name with each sentence and you may get the name of speaker at first or last, but during the changing into indirect, you have to put the name of the speaker and listener at first. That means you have to find out the name of the speaker and listener at first, and you have to write down the names of the speaker and the listener in the first sentence, though it may not be mentioned in the question at first. For example, dear Space, I have called you today. Were you so much busy? He said, I was busy with some official works, said I. In this space, he said to me that he had called me that day. He asked me if I was so much busy. I replied that I had been busy with some official works. So you have seen that I have mentioned the name of speaker and listener before each sentence, and though it is not mentioned before each speech in direct spaces, yes, it is your duty to put the part reporting verb before each speech in the spaces. That means, though in this example there is the name of the listener is not mentioned in the first, we have to write down the name of the speaker and the listener at first. For this, I have used he said to me. Now, rule number 3, you will mention the name of both speaker and listener for the first time. Next, you have to address them by pronoun word such as he, she and they. If the pronoun of the two persons becomes same, you will mark the pronoun words with the first alphabet in a bracket and after it such as he in the bracket m oblique he in the bracket s. But if there is this name mentioned after any speech, you will also mention the name again. Here is an example and explanation of this rule. Dear speech, you have lost my new bag today. Why have you gone outside leaving it then? Asked the master. I went outside for drinking a glass of water, sir, said the servant. In this space, the master told the servant that he had lost his new bag that day. He in the bracket there is S, and after his in the bracket there is M. He in the bracket M asked him in the bracket S why he in the bracket S had gone outside leaving it then. The servant respectfully replied that he in the bracket S had gone outside for drinking a glass of water. So you have seen that I have mentioned the name of speaker and listener for the first time. Then I have mentioned them with pronoun words and marker he in the bracket M or he in the bracket S. Here I have used the word respectfully for the word sir. You have to remember that if in the dative speech there is the mentionable word sir, you have to use respectfully in the indirect speech, and at first you have to mention the name of the speaker and the listener, and in the second sentence or third sentence you have to mention this name with the pronoun words he or she. Now rule number 4, in the passage if there are 2 or more sentences of the same speaker together, you have to use the expression said to or told for the first speech, but for the second speech you will use the expression again said or told or asked, added and further said or told or asked. But remember, if the sentences are of similar categories, you will do it. If one sentence is assertive and another one is interrogative or imperative, you need not apply this method. For your better understanding of this rule, I have mentioned here the example and explanation. Dear space, you have selected the boy for the job. You will take his responsibility from now, said the officer. In this space, the officer said to me that I had selected the boy for the job. He again said that I would take his responsibility from then. Here the speaker, the officer, has spoken for 2 times and the sentence category of these two sentences is assertive. So I have used the expression again said before the second speech. You can use here further said. You can use here added instead of again said. And because of these two sentences are of assertive sentence, we have used again said or further said. If these sentences are of different, that means if one is assertive sentence and the another is interrogative or imperative, the rules of these two sentences are different. Now rule number 5. There are some certain words or phrases in direct speeches which will be changed in indirect speeches. Now I will show you a chart of those phrases. In the direct speech, if we find the word yes, in the indirect speech it will be subject plus replied in the affirmative. If in the direct speech we get the phrase, we get the word no, in the indirect speech it would be subject plus replied in the negative. If in the direct speech we get the word sir, in the indirect speech it will be respectfully, or we can use with respect. In the direct speech, if a speaker delivers more speeches than assertive, interrogative, in the assertive form we have to use added, told again, also told, and we have to use the conjunction that. And if the sentence is interrogative, in the indirect speech we have to use asked, also asked, asked again, and we have to use the linker if or WS question. That means how, what, where. If the sentence is imperative in the direct speech, we have to use in the indirect speech the word advised or ordered or requested or forbade or told, and we have to use infinitive to. Now rule number 6. If there is any addressing word in a sentence such as friend, father, brother, sister, mother, king, comrades, viewers, you will use a different structure during changing into indirect. Here is the structure. Addressing plus object plus s plus friend plus subject plus verb. Addressing plus object s plus friend plus subject plus verb. For example, direct speech, he said to me, friend, give me this book for reading. Here you get the addressing word friend. So in the indirect speech it will be addressing me as friend, he told me to give him that book for reading. For the word friend we have to use addressing as friend. Now rule number 7. If there is any phrase out of inverted commas, you will not change it. You will rewrite the same form of phrase at the beginning of the reporting verb or indirect speech. For example, direct speech, he said to me, moving beside the Indian border, I am visiting the historical place. Indirect speech, moving beside the Indian border, he said to me that he was visiting the historical place. Here you see that the phrase moving beside the Indian border, there is no inverted commas, so we have to use this phrase in the indirect speech in the same way. We should not change any word here, and we have to use this phrase from the beginning of the indirect speech. Before the reporting verb we have to use this phrase. Now rule number 8. If there is a name of a person in the space and inverted commas, you will use that name in reporting bar during changing the space. For example, during space he said, "Where are you going, Robin?" In this space he asked Robin where he was going. That means the name of the person Robin is in the inverted commas, and we have to use this name Robin after the reporting verb during changing the space. Now rule number 9. If the sentence in inverted commas is in assertive but with an interrogation sign at last, you will use the expression being surprised at the beginning of indirect speech. Besides, you have to transform the direct speech into indirect following the structure of interrogative sentence. For example, direct speech, he said to me, "You know where he lives now?" Indirect speech, being surprised, he asked me if I knew where he lived then. Here you see in the direct speech, the sentence is in assertive but with an interrogation sign. So we have to use at the beginning of the indirect speech being surprised. And the reported speech will be changed into indirect speech by maintaining the rules of interrogative sentence. Now rule number 10. Sometimes we do not get any object of reporting verb in indirect speech. In that case, we can use the expression "the person spoken to" or "me" as the object of reporting verb in indirect speech. For example, direct speech, he said, "I will tell you the incident tomorrow." In direct speech, he said to the person spoken to that he would tell him the incident the next day. Or we can say, he said to me that he would tell him the incident the next day. Here you see in the direct speech there is no mention of object. So we are using the person spoken to or "me" as the object of reporting verb in indirect speech. I hope you have already realized the rules of passage narration, and for class 8, passage narration is very important. In your exam, JSA exam, passage narration is must. So you have to practice passage narration, and here is an evaluation. I hope you all will answer this question. You have to transform the following into indirect speech. Here is a direct speech. "You have lost my new bag today. Why have you gone outside leaving it then?" asked the master. "By Allah, I went outside for drinking a glass of water, sir," said the servant. "You could go after my coming. You could wait for someone else. Now pay for the bag." "Yes, I am guilty for my carelessness, but now I have no money," cried the servant. I think you have already understood how direct speech can be transformed into indirect speech in the passage narration. So it is easy to make answer. For your betterment, I have given here the answer. Please match the answer with your answer sheet. In this speech, the master said to the servant that he, in the bracket S, had lost his, in the bracket M, new bag that day. He asked him why he had gone outside leaving it then. Swearing by Allah, the servant respectfully replied that he had gone outside for drinking a glass of water. He said to him that he could go after his coming. He again said that he could wait for someone else, he ordered him to pay for the bag then. The servant cried and said in affirmative that he was guilty for his carelessness, but then he had no money. Now here is a homework. I have given here a homework for you. Please do this homework. Read out the following in indirect speech. The stranger said to the boy, "Can you tell me the way to the nearest hotel?" "Yes, sir, I can." "Do you want a residential one in which you can spend the night?" said the boy. "I don't want to stay there, but I only want a meal," replied the man. "Paradise Garden will be better for you," said the boy. Now, at the end of the class, I want to quote a line from a Chinese proverb. An inch of time is an inch of gold, but you can't buy that inch of time with an inch of gold. That means time is valuable like gold, but time cannot be bought with the gold, because it is more valuable than gold and it can't be bought by anything. So we have to use time properly. We should not waste any time. As you are staying home for a pandemic condition, you should not waste any time. Your school is closed, but you have to study at your home, and you have to know the unknown. You have to research. You have to know many things from internet or from anything, so that you can enrich your knowledge. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. Goodbye. See you again.